The idle's a little low. Yep. That's why it's stalling. I don't want to touch it. Can't reach. Alright, just raised the idle a little bit. Couldn't reach it. It's very hard with this carb. There we go. Oh, broke it. Alright guys, I'm going to give you the overview of this ERCM pipe. So you can see I broke this shock shaft. Maybe a few too many large jumps. But basically, from what I can tell, it lost a little bit of bottom end. It's definitely not as lively from the bottom, but it does shift faster, so it does make more mid-range, and it seems like it pulls a little bit more up top. The temperature is running cooler. It is running cooler with this pipe, and I also had to lean it out by like a full turn compared to the Dynamite Platinum pipe. However, the Dynamite Platinum pipe makes a little bit more bottom end. This pipe sacrifices some bottom end, but it amplifies the mid-range and the top end from what I can tell. So if you keep the engine in its happy range, it makes more power, and it also runs a little cooler. It needed a little bit more idle. It needed less fuel on the high end, and I believe I had to lean out the low a little bit. Temperature wise, it's running in the 280s. And the Platinum runs around 300 for good performance. So this pipe definitely is a little bit more efficient, probably burns a little bit cleaner because it's a steel pipe. So this is the ERCM pipe with the OS header. The OS header has a ramp up, which allowed me to put this bracket on, and this bracket is for the Revo. It ties into the bulkhead up front and the rear body mount, I guess they call it. It keeps it from bending forward this way. So every time you land, this thing wants to bend forward. And that's why, you'll see the pipes dented underneath, because this whole thing flexes. So this reduces the flexing. But yeah, that's the difference between this pipe and the Dynamite with this particular motor. So you do sacrifice low end grunt with this setup, but you enhance the top end performance. So and it's also loud as hell, especially when the motor's ramping up. So when you're like getting on the throttle and it's like going through its power band, that's where it like really rasps and is loud. But once you get the high RPMs, it kind of, you know, it's not as bad. But it's when you get on the throttle, when the motor's full loaded, that's where it's the loudest. But yep, so that's this particular setup. I will say this setup is probably my more preferred setup, because I know if I take these wheels and tires off and I put a lighter wheel and tire setup, that will help with the low end. But the top end and the mid range is incredibly better, and the motor runs cleaner, it runs cooler, and the fuel mileage seems to be really good. I haven't been able to time the tank, but I didn't really take much gas, so good stuff.